What's the word? I hope you're doing so well. Listen, I just wanted to come through today and give you a little message because I think in life, especially nowadays, it can be so easy to kind of get that instant gratification that we want in life, right? Whether that be like just through technology and like video games, for example, you do an action, you see the results pretty immediately, or even in sports. For example, if I'm playing basketball, the amount of time it takes for me to decide what move I'm going to make and for the ball to go in the hoop is literally seconds. So immediately I know if I succeed in what I'm doing or not. But a lot of things in life aren't like that. For example, if you want to go to the gym, you can put in that work, but you're never going to get immediate results, right? Like no matter how hard you work day to day, like those results are still going to be gradual. No matter how much protein and intake you get, like you're not going to be like jacked in one day. That's just the truth. So this is a philosophy I like to kind of bring into my life is kind of a level of detachment. Because here's the thing, if I'm going to the gym, I know I put in that work, my body is going to get stronger. I'm going to get bigger. I'm going to be healthier and I'm going to reap the rewards of that. But it doesn't necessarily mean like I'm so thirsty for the results, you know? Like there's a level of detachment because at the end of the day, like I know I'm putting in the work, so it's gonna work out, right? And I think when it comes to things, many people in life are kind of not thinking about that as far as their everyday progress and the things that they want to do and their goals. Like think about your goals in the same way. You put in the time, it's gonna work out. Okay? Think about it just like the gym. You know, you don't question after a workout in the gym if your muscles are gonna get bigger. You know it's happening over time. And maybe it's not gonna be huge growth like you want, but it's incremental. And at the end of the day, like, of course, life is a little bit different in that you can make something and it can grow exponentially. It can grow, you can have a day where things just take off. But all that happens from just putting in that work every day, really. And that's something like I really want to remind you is that like, you know, just put in the work and everything's gonna be fine. Don't get in your head, don't get in your own way, don't get caught up in the details. Just put in that work and everything's gonna be okay. And at the end of the day, like let me explain to you something. It really doesn't matter like if something pops up on off one day or not, because here's let's say like you're a musician and one of your songs goes, platinum. It blows up in a month. You still, no matter like regardless of that, you're still gonna have to put in the work after that to continue to be that successful artist that you want to be. So regardless of the results, understand that you're gonna be putting in the work regardless. There is no, oh, I've hit this barometer, I'm gonna stop. Because there's always something to push for. There's always something to work for. So for me, I'm never really like caught up in like the work. I'm never caught up in like, oh, this is when my barometer for when I can stop. Because like it's the same thing as the gym analogy. There's never a barometer in the gym where I'm like, okay, I've reached my marker. I can never go to the gym again, right? Like, no, because that's really not what we're here for. We're here for the journey. We're here for the lifelong benefits. We're here for building that muscle, feeling better in ourselves. And the same thing is with let's say your creative career. You want to, keep creating, you want to keep building just because you love it, you enjoy the process and the journey of it, not because we have a specific destination goal and once we hit that, it's the end all be all, you know? And for example, in the gym, there are many days I think like maybe we just don't want to go, we're not feeling it, but we go anyways and we feel better that and we feel like grateful that we went to the gym that day, despite feeling maybe a little sluggish that day or just not having the drive. Um, because at the end of the day, I feel like it's momentum, and we can create our own momentum and our own drive for these things. You can wake up and feel like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym. But you go, you get your little warm up going, and all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm feeling it, I'm vibing, I'm grateful, and I'm happy to be here. And the same thing happens with your work. Well, regardless of what you do, especially if it's creative, like you can always just get those juices going just by playing. Like you don't have to wait for the like want or drive to do something to do it. You can create your own momentum, and that's beautiful. I want you to write that down. I can create my own momentum. Okay, that can be a mantra for you because at the end of the day, like, we don't have to wait for outside factors. We don't have to wait for things to be perfect. We don't have to wait for the motivation and desire. We can just put that work in and it'll work out. I promise you. Just put the work in and it'll all work out. And like there is also the flip side of that coin is we have to understand when we do need time and when we do need breaks because like there's a difference when you want to go to the gym and let's say you're sick and you just can't or you shouldn't or maybe you're nursing an injury with your knee and maybe that's not the best day to do, your personal best on squats or even just go to the gym in general. There are days that we actually need rest. But I think there's a level of trust in yourself to recognize when it is that you need the rest and when it is just laziness or when it is you just letting yourself kind of letting yourself go a little bit. And then I think that just takes a level of honesty with yourself to be like, you know, as much as I want to go, maybe I shouldn't today. Or as much as I don't want to go, maybe I should today, right? And just having that level of discernment and being honest with yourself. But yeah, honestly, whatever you're working towards, whatever goals you have, like just remember, just put in that work and I promise you everything's gonna work out. Don't be so caught up in it because there are a lot of factors that you can't control, you know? Um, especially in like if you're creative, for example, or if what you have like your success, if your success is like determined by other people and how they perceive your work, there's nothing you can do. Like when I make a piece of art and I put it out there in the world, hey, I don't know if people are gonna like it. And I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I like it and I like it enough to put it out there. Right? So ultimately my success is not determined by what other people think. My success is determined by am I happy with what I've made and do I feel like it is an authentic expression of myself? That is the barometer I set with myself. Same thing with the gym. It's not like, oh, am I getting the biggest gains? No, it's, do I feel like I pushed myself to another level today? Do I felt like I got the most out of my workout? Do I feel good in my body? Do I feel like I made progress and I pushed myself towards something? That is my barometer for success in the gym. It's not reaching a certain mass. It's not, being swole. It's not this, it's not that. It's just being happy with the work that I put in and being happy with the internal results. And I think that is another thing is like not letting our barometer for success be so targeted towards, let's say, numbers, let's say money, let's say views, let's say whatever statistic that you want to put out there, whatever external statistic that we can't control. So rather than that, we aim for our own internal success. And I think that goes a long way. And the last thing I just want to mention is like detachment, detachment, detachment. Like at the end of the day, like when you have this type of mindset, you're focused on the more important things. So the external successes doesn't really matter as much. And I think that is where we find most of our success is when we're not constantly kind of straining our dreams and trying to fit it into a box of how things have to go or how things have to be. Because when you like, for example, if you're planting a seed, and let's say the seed is your dream, you plant a seed, you water the plant, and eventually when it sprouts, you let it get sunlight. But you're not constantly unburying that seed to check if it's growing. No, you just give it the water, you put in the work, and it grows, and it's growing. And I think that like ultimately, like why would your dreams be any different? Why would the things that you want in life be anything different than that? Water the seed, keep going, it'll sprout. One day you'll see it, and when it sprouts, maybe you have to put in a little bit more work and it'll give it a little bit of sunlight, maybe a little bit more water. But other than that, it's just work. And I think that's something that like everyone needs here, is that you don't have to complicate things. Just make it simple and allow yourself to really be successful and then just put in that work every day. And also I appreciate hopefully you got something out of this video because this is something like I think I had to learn for myself is that, just put in the work. Don't worry about whether it's gonna be successful or not, you know that it's gonna be successful just because you're putting your time and energy into it. And speaking of things I put my time and energy to, I also make art. My website, adev.com. I am an artist, and I appreciate if you take a look, because it's really high quality stuff, and I put, a lot of heart and soul into it, a lot of love and appreciation. So regardless, man, I hope you have a good day. Put in that work, and you'll see the fruits of your labor. I know it. One love.